Good morning, everybody. Ooh, it's fall. Oh my God, it's fall. Fall is amazing. I like fall only because it's cool weather. It's the time that I met my husband for the first time physically, as far as being in the same room, face to face, because we didn't meet online and it wasn't through Facebook at the time. It was through some dating app. And so, yeah, so fall always has some kind of, I don't know, special meaning to me. So yeah, I'm up early because I'm up early. I wanted to see my husband off to work, and then I drank some coffee, and yeah, I feel amazing. I did some waterfalls yesterday. Not a whole lot. I mean, I didn't drink a whole lot of my J juice yesterday, but I did do a little bit, and it gave me enough waterfalls to be fine. And so waterfalls, for anyone that is tuning in that's not familiar, Chili Juice has the recipe has components of the recipe with salt, cabbage, and water, or kale, and it's fermented. And what it does is it energizes the life side of your immune system so that way the body is releasing any excess microbiome. Because why it is people are dying from exposures to new microbiomes or new entities in the environment that are very aggressive is because they still hold old microbiomes in their body. So really how I want to characterize environments and so people understand that any single time that you enter into a new room, a new environment, or a new group of people, or a store or anything, that is a microbiome. Anything that's outside of your usual is a different microbiome. So when you go outside, that's a different microbiome than your inside of your house, okay? When you get into your car, it's another different microbiome. When you hang out with friends, they have different microbiomes, and even in their house, they have a microbiome. So your ability to be able to adapt to different microbiomes is paramount, okay? And so, that's how I want you guys to understand different environments have different microbiomes, and even people hold different microbiomes, and they go around and they hang out with other people sometimes. And this is the thing, those that are social distancing right now, that are really keeping away from people, I'm not saying it's bad, but you have to be exposed to at least one or two people and keep that up. And they're saying six in Europe. But if you can get together with people, and yeah, you'll be exposed to some kind of COVID. But the thing is that those that are not doing Jilly Juice and they are social distancing on a mass level, as soon as you get vaccinated or some kind of new virus is airborne in your universe, you get exposed, your immunity, well, your strength is going to be compromised. You already are not releasing or expressing your prostaglandins, and your antibodies are still working overtime because you have an Rh factor plus a blood type, and so already your body is accumulating antibodies. I mean, you might be releasing some a little bit every morning when you're pooping, but you must be able to adapt to new environments. So this is the thing. If you are one of those that do go and circulate with different people, it's a good thing, okay? Because you need to be able to adapt to different microbiomes, and people represent different microbiomes. But you also have to be backing up that evolution, being exposed to different microbiomes, with the right chemistry. Some of you have enough of chemistry, such as minerals and nutrients in your body, because you're built like a brick shit house, that your body's able to steal resources from your hair, skin, and nails and your bones to keep your vital organs alive. But at some point, that is going to be exhausted. And so you have to back it up with the right chemistry. And so I'm looking at my Facebook and looking at some of you are of course, you're vaccination skeptics, and you should be because they're full of antibodies. But when you're promoting and saying that fast tracking vaccines is a bad thing, well, you know, here's the thing: when you're promoting that fast, if your fear is that the vaccines are fast tracked and they have been tested correctly, that's the wrong way. When you think about it, that's really a light promotion of vaccines, saying that that there are safer vaccines. There are safer vaccines and safer immunizations. And please wait for the safest, vaccination. And any vaccination at this point, I don't care if it's an inactivated vaccine or an activated vaccine. And there's a difference. An activated vaccine is where it's a whole of virus protein, like a whole viral protein and a whole bacterial protein that will activate your immune system, and you won't need boosters. It almost is like it programs your DNA, it's like a program antigen that will then constantly produce antibodies at a moment's notice. As soon as it gets wind of that energy or that chemical protein in the environment. And those are very, very aggressive. Those are the ones that people who have chronic conditions, is from activated vaccines. Inactivated vaccines, all right, they may be the safer, but it's really not, because it's still viral proteins, it's still antibodies, but they do wear off or they get released and they're not programming, but it's still something that your body is going to take a hit and maybe it gets released, maybe it doesn't. So no matter what, there is no safe vaccine, okay? Even promoting even being critical of fast tracking vaccines as if there's any vaccine that's even slow tracked is going to be safer. At this point, with the social distancing, with the aggressive viruses in the environment, with the vaccine trials, with people who are going to be human guinea pigs, and already I see it in my biotech group, Inovio. They have people that are testing the vaccines, and they're in different communities like Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia. There's a lady that actually is a guinea pig for one of the DNA monoclonal antibodies, and she's in Georgia. So Georgia is getting an exposure to a type of strain. And so here's the thing. We know we can't get away from vaccines. We cannot get away from vaccines. We can't get away from the vaccinated. And we can't get away from people who are shedding antibodies because of their exposure. So the thing is, you must be doing J-juice to be able to handle that different exposure to a microbiome, because what it is antibodies delete out the old programming, and then you're supposed to regenerate the new programming. And when you do get exposed to a virus and that does attach to parts of your DNA, those DNA go through an evolution, and that's why you feel symptoms. But what happens is that when the antibodies do get created to go and delete out the old microbiome, so to speak, the old cells, you have to be able to regenerate new cells. And what happens is people are not regenerating faster than they are deleting old cells. And so that's why they do these antivirals, to then do a search and destroy, to destroy anything that would remotely look like a virus trying to upgrade. And then what happens is it keeps you at that stagnant level, and then you start degrading. Okay? And so it's very important to understand how J-juice works in conjunction with vaccinations, with people who have been vaccinated, to people who have not been vaccinated and are exposed to environments. And, everyone that right now that is social distancing should have some kind of exposure to this COVID in some way, because you have to be able to know that you can handle the environment. Because what's going to happen is you go into an aggressive environment and you've been social distancing for a long time, you are not going to have what it takes, and it will destroy you. So also down the road, they're introducing some kind of new diet for climate change. The West Coast is going to be promoting, different diets to support the climate change, whatever. And I don't believe that all of this stuff is going on naturally. We know that there is influencers in our universe, such as the powers that be, that hold all these different weapons that also alter the weather and alter the earth. And so, but what they're promoting is some kind of like where you don't have all of this agriculture, like corn is destroying the earth, and agriculture, farming, like cows and all that stuff, like mass corporate farms. Bill Gates is going to be and with biotech, they're going to be creating, which they already are, like a fake meat, okay? All this, I don't say fake meat, but it's just meat that's not like been killed, that's from an animal, from just different minerals. And that's how you kind of have to look at the food supply, that as long as it meets the needs of your fatty acid, amino acid, prohormones, and minerals, if it has all the nutrients that keep the body built up, then it almost doesn't matter where it comes from as long as you're able to have it get distributed to the right areas. And that's why jelly juice is so important. And that's why having the salts and having the probiotics and having the nutrition in conjunction with any new food supply, with genetically modified foods, with fake foods, maybe like people say Soylent Green, which I don't even want to look at. I've heard of the movie Soylent Green. I don't love the concept, but the thing with the microbiome is that we're supposed to be able to process and adapt to anything in the food supply. So as long as we're able to balance out our biochemistry personally. What's going on, why people are having reactions to the food supply is because they have not balanced out their body personally, and they're taking cues from the allopathic holistic, who is trying to dose and balance their biochemistry out, and they're not doing a good job. And so people are taking on heavy metals and not releasing them. They're taking on excess parasites and not releasing them, taking on different parts of the microbiome and not releasing. They're feeding the candida, but they're killing other bacteria. So then candida becomes more prolific because they're taking these certain antibiotics, they're killing off one life form, so another life form is able to grow and proliferate without any balancing force. And so you have to be able to balance out your own biochemistry with white salt, with probiotics, which is the lactic acid, which is a byproduct of lactobacillus, which is the bacteria that is grown in fermentation. And it can be grown from sugar as well as salt and milk, which has sugars in it. But the best probiotic ever is something that is from salt, because you can get sugar in the food supply, okay? But hey, let's say they say corn is out of the question. Let's say that they stop factory farming corn, and maybe they only do rice. Well, rice is fine as far as a sugar type of food that you need. But if you just get regular sugar or milk, but they don't want factory farms, but if you get sugar and from, let's say, like coconut, fermented coconut milk, okay, that's a great, substitute for corn or anything that is mass produced that could potentially hurt the earth. Now, I'm coming from the climate change perspective on what they're introducing as far as diets that will be friendlier to the environment. Now, they're also saying coffee might be something that they're going to eradicate down the road in the future. I hope not, but I mean, who knows? We know humans like their coffee. We know humans need to have that energy to get up and go. When I do the jelly juice like I did yesterday, I had that surge of energy, and then whoosh, the microbiome from the wedding all came out, which is great. But I want you guys to understand that no matter what, whatever food supply is being created through biotech, through whatever. Oh, wow. Sorry, Rob, for playing this video. Okay. Well, I'm going to get off right now because I don't know what's going on with my internet. But anyways, so as long as, you know what your body can take, okay? If you know as far as what keeps the building blocks of your body, then whatever biotech creates, as long as it fits, as long as it promotes the biochemistry of fatty acid, amino acid, prohormones, and minerals, you're going to be fine. Just do the J juice. It'll redistribute stuff. Make sure you have the amino acids. Make sure you have all the different constituents of your body, mind, and spirit so it supports it. And then the jelly juice will then redistribute and distribute it to the right prospective places. I'm going to get off because it says, sorry, we're having trouble playing this video, which means that I can't see what I'm saying or doing. But I know the camera's still on, but it's weird. It's all black. So have a good day. I'm going to do my thing. And if I have anything else to say, I'll get on. Fine. All right. Bye.